The sacred split, why some souls are born with the light and the fire. There's a kind of soul that doesn't fit in any box. Not the box of the light worker, not the box of the shadow walker. Not saint, not sinner, not hero, not villain. These souls carry something ancient, something primal, something divine, and something dangerous. They are born with what I call the dual angel-demon vibration. It's not a metaphor. It's not a personality type. It's a frequency, a raw, volatile, sacred code woven into the very fabric of your being. And if you feel like you've never belonged anywhere, like you're pulled between the highest heavens and the deepest hells, then you might carry this vibration too. But don't mistake it for confusion or contradiction. This energy is a rare divine assignment. And today, I'm going to reveal why.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Let's begin with the first sign. You've always felt like you were being watched, but not in a paranoid way. More like your life has always felt witnessed, like something beyond this world has its eyes on you. You may have even spoken to invisible presences as a child, or sensed energies that others dismissed. But here's the twist: it wasn't always angels. Sometimes it felt warm and gentle, like being wrapped in light. But at other times, it felt like a pressure in the room, like something powerful and wild was standing right behind you, not evil, but untamed. If you felt both the divine presence and the primal force, then you're not imagining it. You are carrying a dual frequency, and the spiritual realm knows it. That's why they watch you. That's why they test you. Because you are not just a receiver of light, you are a balancer of realms. The second sign is this: you're capable of extreme compassion and extreme destruction, depending on your level of consciousness. And this scares you. You've seen how soft your heart can be. You cry when others are in pain. You feel the suffering of the world like it's your own. You'd give your last breath to save a stranger. But you've also seen another side. The side that awakens when you're betrayed. The side that can cut someone down with a single sentence. The side that doesn't just get angry, it devours. And that duality has made you wonder, am I good or am I dangerous? But here's the truth: you're both. And that's not a flaw. That's a function. The angel in you knows how to lift others out of darkness. The demon in you knows how to destroy the darkness itself. Together they make you a force that neither heaven nor hell can ignore. But to wield this force, you must first integrate it. Let me ask you something few ever dare to confront. Have you ever enjoyed your own rage? Felt a strange power rise inside you when you stopped pretending to be nice? That moment when you stopped suppressing and started owning the chaos within you, how did it feel? Shameful or liberating? What if I told you that moment wasn't your fall, it was your activation? Because the third sign of a dual angel-demon soul is that your shadow is not your enemy. Your shadow is your fuel. You are not here to pretend you're pure. You are here to prove that power, when aligned with purpose, becomes holy. That's why your darkness isn't random. It's not dysfunction, it's fire. And fire, when mastered, becomes light in motion. The fourth sign is that you've always been drawn to both sacred temples and forbidden places. You feel equally at home in a church, a graveyard, a rave, a forest, a battlefield. You hold reverence for prayer and for rebellion. You meditate with monks, but you also resonate with warriors. Your bookshelf holds scriptures and grimoires. Your playlist swings from angelic chants to soul-piercing trap. And people don't get it. They want you to pick a side. But you are both sides. You carry the codes of ascension and the keys of descent. You walk between worlds. And that's what makes you rare. That's what makes you dangerous to systems. Because you can't be controlled. You can't be categorized. You are the bridge between all things. And bridges are not meant to be understood. They are meant to be crossed. The fifth sign is this: you are a mirror that reveals what others are hiding. People are magnetized to you and terrified of you. They come to you for healing, but they don't even know why. They confess things they've never told anyone. They cry in your presence, but then suddenly they pull away. They project. They run. Why? Because your energy doesn't just comfort, it exposes. You don't even have to speak. Just your presence makes people confront their inner truths. And not everyone is ready for that. You reflect both the light they desire and the shadow they deny. That's why your relationships are intense. People either worship you or fear you. Sometimes both. And if you don't understand your vibration, this can feel like a curse. But it's not. It's a service. You were born to awaken. And awakening is rarely gentle. So now I ask you, why do you think your life has never been normal? Why do you think you've always felt torn between extremes? What if your soul is not confused, but complex? What if your being was designed to hold paradox, to embody contradiction, to balance what others can't even perceive? Because the angel-demon frequency is not about good versus evil. It's about wholeness. It's about holding the entire spectrum of human and divine potential in one vessel and not being destroyed by it. You see, most people are trained to choose. Choose light, reject shadow. Choose love, reject anger. Choose peace, reject power. But when you carry the dual vibration, you are here to transcend choice. You are here to include, to integrate, or to merge. You are here to show the world what happens when light and dark stop fighting and start dancing. That dance is what makes you holy. That dance is what makes you unstoppable. And yet this path is not easy. Because the angel in you will hate the demon, and the demon in you will mock the angel. The war begins inside, but the only way forward is union. That's your initiation. You need to stop fighting yourself, to stop hiding your fire in order to appear peaceful, to stop dimming your light in order to feel safe. You were not born for safety. You were born for sovereignty. So here's my challenge to you. Can you stand in the full power of who you are without apology, without shame, without explanation? Can you hold your darkness like a sword and your light like a shield, and walk through this world as the divine paradox you were born to be? That is the path of the dual angel-demon soul. And if you've made it this far, you already know it's yours. The power of purified chaos, how to master the angel-demon code inside you. There comes a moment in every dual soul's journey when the war inside becomes unbearable. You feel like you're being pulled in opposite directions, one voice whispering love, patience, and divine timing, the other screaming truth, fire, and immediate action. And in that inner tug of war, most people lose themselves. They either over-identify with the angel and suppress the demon, becoming passive, disconnected, and hollow. Or they lean into the demon and reject the angel, becoming reckless, destructive, and lost in their own power. But the rare ones, the ones like you, are being called to do something almost no one teaches, to bring the two into harmony. The sixth sign of a dual angel-demon vibration is that chaos doesn't scare you. In fact, part of you feels strangely at home in it. While others panic, you become still. While others lose themselves in crisis, you come alive. You step into conflict not to create more pain, but to bring clarity. You are not afraid of emotional intensity, of spiritual uncertainty, of moral complexity. That's because your soul was designed to navigate the storm, not avoid it. But here's the spiritual twist: chaos can't be mastered by fighting it. It can only be mastered by purifying it. Purified chaos is when the demon in you becomes devotional. It no longer seeks to dominate, it seeks to destroy illusion. It rips away the lies, the masks, the false light, the fluffy spirituality that avoids real transformation. It becomes a holy fire, and it will burn anything that isn't aligned with your soul's truth, even if it means losing everything you thought you were. That's why your life keeps falling apart. That's why you keep shedding identities, relationships, and even belief systems. The fire in you is not malfunctioning. It's doing its job. But here's where the angel comes in. The angel in you is not weak. It's not passive. It's not here to be nice. It's here to anchor light into density. It's the presence in you that says, even though I could destroy you, I choose to heal you. It's the energy that speaks truth not to wound, but to awaken. It's the hand that reaches out after the storm and says, now that the illusions are gone, let's build something real. That's what makes your vibration rare. You don't just burn, you rebuild. You don't just expose darkness, you illuminate it. You are not a destroyer. You are a divine disruptor. Let me ask you something most people never consider. What if your pain isn't just yours? What if your soul was designed to absorb the unprocessed shadow of generations, lineages, even entire cultures, and transmute it through your own embodiment? Have you ever walked into a room and felt the heaviness of others? Have you ever had to sit with emotions that didn't belong to you? That's not hypersensitivity. That's energetic alchemy. And only a being with both angelic compassion and demonic discernment can hold that kind of weight without being crushed by it. The seventh and final sign of the dual vibration is that people try to define you and always fail. They call you intense, unstable, dramatic, distant, too much, too little, too soft, too hard. You've been labeled as toxic and as sacred sometimes by the same people. And at some point you started wondering if you were the problem. But you're not. The world just doesn't know what to do with a being who holds both the sword and the salve, both the scream and the silence. You dismantle categories. You are the paradox that forces others to confront their own duality. And that's why they both crave and fear you. This is your spiritual reality. You didn't come here to fit in, you came here to fracture the matrix, to stand at the place where light and shadow meet and hold them both with reverence. That's why your path feels impossible. It is impossible for anyone who hasn't been initiated by fire. But you have. And whether you know it or not, you've already passed through countless initiations. You've been betrayed, broken, isolated, cracked open. You've seen the worst of humanity and still chosen to love. But not the naive love of the untested angel. No, you've chosen the love that sees everything and still shows up. That is the kind of love only a dual soul can carry. So how do you master this vibration? It begins by stopping the self-rejection. You must stop punishing yourself for your darkness. Stop trying to amputate your fire. Stop apologizing for your power. That part of you that you've tried to hide your anger, your sensuality, your defiance, your madness, it is not your shame. It is your gift, but only if you own it. Only if you bring it to the altar and say, this too is divine. The next step is to train your energy. A dual soul without discipline becomes a danger to themselves and others. Your emotions are oceans. Your thoughts are lightning. Your presence is overwhelming, which means you must become clear, not controlled, not suppressed, but anchored. Learn to breathe through your rage. Learn to pause before you cut. Learn to use your vision not to judge, but to heal. This is spiritual maturity. And when you arrive here, you become something almost no one can touch, a sovereign force of divine chaos and divine order, merged into one. And finally, you must find your service, because this vibration is not given for your ego. It's not a badge of superiority. It's a burden of responsibility. You are a code carrier. You are a walking transmission, which means your life is not about comfort. It's about consequence. Every word you speak carries weight. Every relationship you enter becomes a mirror. Every room you walk into shifts. This is not something to fear. This is something to respect. So ask yourself, what do I want to amplify in this world? What do I want to burn? What do I want to build? Because once you answer that, the angel and the demon inside you will stop fighting. They will align. And when they do, you will become something the world has rarely seen, a soul that has tasted the abyss and still chooses the sky. A being who walks with the sword of truth and the wings of grace. A living paradox. A holy storm. The divine mirror effect. How your dual vibration awakens others without saying a word. By now, you've probably realized something you've always felt but maybe never fully understood: your presence alone has power. Not because you speak loudly, not because you preach, teach, or try to convince anyone, but because somewhere deep in your energy field, your very existence disrupts illusions. You walk into a room and things shift. People get uncomfortable. Some feel seen for the first time in years. Others avoid your eyes. Why? Because when you carry both angelic and demonic frequencies in balance, you become a mirror that reflects the true face of the soul in front of you. And not everyone is ready to see that. You've probably had moments where people projected their deepest wounds onto you. They accused you of being what they couldn't face in themselves. They called you manipulative when you were just being direct. They labeled you dangerous when you were simply powerful. And the most painful part, sometimes you believed them. You internalized their fear, their confusion, their shame. But here's the truth you must remember. You're not too much, they're just not ready for the fullness of their own reflection. When they look at you, they see their own unprocessed pain, their own suppressed fire, their own forgotten light. They don't recognize it as theirs, so they assign it to you. And in doing so, they miss the gift. But the gift remains, even if they don't open it. Because the dual angel-demon vibration doesn't need to be understood to be effective. It works. It shifts people. It breaks patterns. It awakens dormant codes. And it does so often in silence. That's why your life feels like a paradox. You're both loved and feared, worshipped and rejected, needed and misunderstood. It's not because of anything you're doing wrong, it's because of what you carry. You are a living transmission of integration. And integration, in a world built on separation, is revolutionary. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had someone come into your life, briefly, intensely, and then vanish, but everything inside you changed because of that encounter? If so, then you already know how the mirror effect works. Now flip the lens. You are that person for others. You might not even know the impact you're having. Sometimes your presence is the catalyst for someone else's awakening. Sometimes your refusal to play small gives others permission to expand. Sometimes your silence is louder than 1,000 sermons. That is the sacred burden and the sacred blessing of your path. But here's where it gets deeper. The mirror doesn't only reflect others, it reflects you. Every person you trigger, every soul you attract, every situation that repeats in your life, it's all feedback. It's all sacred data. If someone reacts to your power with fear, ask yourself, where am I still afraid of my own power? If someone tries to dim your light, ask, where am I still playing small to make others comfortable? This level of self-inquiry is not optional for a dual vibration being. It's required, because the more conscious you become of your own reflection, the more refined your vibration becomes. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop defending. You start embodying. This is where things begin to shift. When your angel and demon energies are no longer at war, and when you understand the mirror you are for others, you start to walk differently. You don't explain yourself as much. You don't chase. You don't force. You exist. And in that existence, you become a field of frequency that either awakens or repels, but never leaves anyone unchanged. This is when you step fully into your spiritual role, not as a guru, not as a savior, but as a reminder. A soul who reminds others of what they've forgotten inside themselves. And yet, this path is not without pain, because you will lose people, you will outgrow spaces. You will find that the more aligned you become, the less you resonate with old versions of your life. And that's okay. That's part of the purification. As you embody more of your true frequency, anything that was built on compromise will fall away. Relationships, careers, belief systems, they will either evolve with you or dissolve completely. And that's not a punishment. That's alignment. You are not being abandoned. You are being realigned with your original blueprint. Do you feel that deep pull in your chest right now? That sensation like something ancient inside you is waking up. That's the angel and the demon no longer whispering but roaring in unison. That's the call. The call to claim all of who you are, not just the parts that are palatable, not just the pieces that make others comfortable, but everything. Your rage, your tenderness, your sacred sexuality, your untamed intuition, your divine madness, your cosmic clarity. All of it is needed. All of it is holy. So what do you do with this power? You live it. You stop asking for permission. You stop shrinking around small minds. You stop editing your truth. And you start showing up fully, fiercely, unapologetically. You speak when silence is a betrayal. You rest when the world demands performance. You create art that makes people feel everything. You become the permission slip you never received. And most of all, you become sovereign, not above others, but rooted so deeply in yourself that no storm can uproot you. And from that place of sovereignty, your service will emerge, not from obligation, but from overflow. You'll know when it's time to speak. You'll know who is ready to receive. You'll know when to burn and when to bless. You'll know because you'll be listening not to the noise of the world, but to the sacred fusion of your own dual vibration. The angel will show you the path. The demon will make sure you walk it. Together they will turn your life into a living prayer. So now I ask you the final question of this part. Are you ready to stop hiding behind the illusion of being just human? Are you ready to embody the full spectrum of your divinity, even if it terrifies others? Even if it terrifies you? Because the world doesn't need more half-light, half-truth souls. It needs the whole ones. The ones who've gone to hell and brought back heaven. The ones who can sit with pain without flinching. The ones who can bless and break in the same breath. The ones who can walk between worlds and remain whole. This is your time. This is your calling. Not to be perfect, not to be pure, but to be real. Gloriously, powerfully real. Because that more than anything is what heals. The final initiation, turning your dual vibration into a divine weapon of awakening. There comes a moment in the life of every dual vibration soul when you stop asking, "Why am I like this?" and start asking, "How can I use what I carry with sacred precision?" That's the final initiation. It's not about healing anymore. It's not about seeking answers or even trying to fit into a spiritual framework. It's about weaponizing your frequency not in violence, not in vengeance, but in wakefulness. You become the sword and the sanctuary. You become the storm and the stillness. You become the unmistakable force that walks into a room and makes people remember who they really are. But to arrive at this level, you must pass through the final fire, your own reflection. This is where most turn back, because this fire doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. You start to see every way you've betrayed your own truth. Every time you stayed silent to be accepted. Every time you toned yourself down to be loved. Every time you denied your demon to be spiritual or dulled your angel to be relatable. And that realization hits hard, because you realize it wasn't them holding you back. It was you. It was your own fear of being fully seen. And so the real work begins not in becoming something new, but in remembering what you've always been and removing everything that told you otherwise. This level of embodiment is not for the faint of heart, because once you live from your full vibration, you can no longer pretend. You can no longer play small. You can no longer stay in spaces that tolerate your light but resent your fire. And that's the cost of this gift, total authenticity. But the reward, total freedom. Let's speak practically now. What does it actually look like to turn your dual vibration into a weapon of awakening? It begins with presence. Your presence is not neutral. It is catalytic. It either activates, agitates, or awakens. You must own that. You must stop trying to be invisible. You were not born to blend in. You were born to disrupt energetic stagnation. That means your body, your voice, your eyes, your silence, they are all tools, sacred instruments. So start using them intentionally. When you speak, speak with purpose. Your words carry codes. Don't waste them on gossip, complaint, or self-doubt. When you walk, walk like a force of nature. Don't shrink your posture to make others comfortable. When you feel, feel fully. Don't numb it, channel it. Let your emotions become your compass. The angel in you knows where to go. The demon in you knows how to get there. Together, they are unstoppable. But here's the nuance. You must temper your power with wisdom. Just because you can burn doesn't mean you should. Just because you can see through someone's mask doesn't mean it's time to pull it off. Your gift is not in destruction. It's in timing, knowing when to speak, when to act, when to walk away. This is the level of mastery where your power becomes surgical. You don't just blast energy, you channel it. You don't just disrupt, you redirect. You don't just awaken, you initiate. And make no mistake, your life itself becomes an initiation for others. You stop trying to teach people. You just live, you embody. And in your embodiment, people either rise or retreat. Not because you're trying to change them, but because your energy demands truth. And truth, in this world is revolutionary. But with great power comes great solitude. You must learn to be okay with being misunderstood, with being ahead of your time, with being too bright for some, too intense for others. You must learn to walk away from anything that asks you to dim, even if it's familiar, even if it's tempting. Because the deeper truth is, you are not here to be understood. You are here to be remembered, remembered by those who've forgotten their own fire, their own wings, their own duality. And yes, the path will test you. There will be moments when you question everything, when you feel too much, when you want to go back to sleep. But you won't. Because once you've awakened to your dual vibration, there is no unseeing. There is only forward, only deeper, only more real. So what now? Now you lead, not with ego, not with control, but with frequency. You lead by being the embodiment of what others are still afraid to claim. You lead by showing that it's possible to hold light and shadow without collapsing, to feel rage and still choose love, to be both holy and human in one breath. You lead by walking first, into the fire, into the silence, into the unknown. And as you do, those who are ready will find you. Not because you marketed yourself, not because you shouted, but because your vibration called to them like a forgotten language, and they remembered. They remembered that they too are a paradox, a storm wrapped in skin, a cathedral made of scars, a divine mutiny against mediocrity. Let me leave you with this final truth. The angel in you is not here to save the world. The demon in you is not here to destroy it. They are here to reveal it, to split the veil, to shatter illusion, to hold the broken pieces of this planet in your hands and say, there is still beauty here. There is still power. There is still God in the chaos. And if you can do that, if you can be that, then you are not just rare. You are necessary. So rise, not as one or the other, but as both, as a divine contradiction, as a holy fire, as the living proof that heaven and hell can coexist in one body and become grace. The world is watching. The realm of light and the realm of shadow are watching, and they are waiting for you.